Durian. Few fruits in the world spark as much debate as this one. Native to Southeast Asia, particularly Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand, the durian is enormous, covered in sharp spikes, and carries a smell so intense that it is banned in hotels, airports, and public transportation across the region. People who love it describe the taste as a rich, custard-like blend of vanilla, almond, and cream. People who hate it often cannot get past the odor, which has been compared to everything from overripe cheese to gym socks. Despite the controversy, durian is deeply embedded in the cultures of Southeast Asia, where it is called the king of fruits. Street vendors stack them in towers, families gather around them like a ritual, and the best varieties can sell for hundreds of dollars. The flesh is soft and buttery, almost melting on the tongue, and the fruit is used in desserts, ice cream, pastries, and even savory dishes. It is also extraordinarily nutritious, packed with fiber, vitamin C, potassium, and healthy fats. Rambutan. At first glance, this fruit looks like something from another planet. It is small and round, covered in soft, hair-like spines that range from red to yellow to orange. The name itself comes from the Malay word for hair. Inside, however, things get immediately familiar. The flesh is white, translucent, and juicy, tasting mildly sweet with a gentle floral hint, somewhere between a grape and a lychee. Rambutan grows in clusters on tall trees across Southeast Asia and is one of the most widely consumed tropical fruits in the world. It is eaten fresh, canned, or turned into jams and drinks. The seed inside is technically edible when cooked, and in some traditional communities it has been used medicinally for generations. Nutritionally, rambutan is a quiet powerhouse, offering vitamin C, copper, and antioxidants in a small, easy-to-eat package. Mangosteen. Sometimes called the queen of fruits, mangosteen has a reputation that precedes it. It grows primarily in tropical regions of Southeast Asia and takes years before a tree produces its first fruit. The outside is a deep purple, almost like a decorative shell, and it opens to reveal bright white segments arranged like a flower. The taste is the real story here. Sweet, tangy, and floral all at once, with a texture so delicate it barely needs chewing. For a long time, mangosteen was nearly impossible to find outside Asia because it bruises easily and does not travel well. Queen Victoria reportedly offered a reward to anyone who could bring her a fresh one. Today, improved shipping methods have made it more accessible globally, and it has developed a strong following in health food circles due to its high concentration of xanthones, antioxidant compounds that researchers have been studying for years. Jackfruit. The jackfruit holds a record most people would not guess. It is the largest tree-borne fruit in the world, and some can weigh over 40 kilograms. It grows across South and Southeast Asia, and has been cultivated in India for thousands of years. The outside looks almost prehistoric, green and bumpy, with a thick, fibrous interior housing dozens of yellow pods and large seeds. When ripe, the pods are sweet and aromatic, tasting somewhat like a mix of banana and pineapple. When unripe and cooked, the texture transforms entirely. The young jackfruit takes on a meaty, shredded consistency that has made it enormously popular as a plant-based meat substitute in Western cuisine over the past decade. In South Asia, it has never needed any rebranding. Curries, chips, pickles, and sweets made from jackfruit have been part of the local diet for centuries. It is also considered a food security crop because one tree can produce hundreds of fruits per year. Dragon fruit. The look alone makes dragon fruit unforgettable. Its bright pink or yellow skin, covered in green-tipped scales, gives it the appearance of something out of a fantasy story. The inside, depending on the variety, is either white or deep magenta, dotted with tiny black seeds throughout. The flavor is gentle and mildly sweet, sometimes compared to a very subtle kiwi. It does not have the intensity its appearance promises, which surprises many people on first taste. Dragon fruit comes from a cactus plant originally native to Central America, where it was cultivated by indigenous peoples long before European contact. From there, it spread to Asia, where it became far more commercially successful than anywhere else in the world. Vietnam is now one of the largest exporters globally. The fruit is high in fiber, vitamin C, and several antioxidants, and the seeds contain healthy fatty acids, which makes it a popular addition to smoothies and health-focused meals. Cherimoya. Mark Twain once described this fruit as the most delicious fruit known to men. That is a significant claim, but anyone who has eaten a ripe cherimoya tends to understand it. The fruit looks like a green, heart-shaped pine cone and grows primarily in the Andean valleys of South America, particularly in Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. The flesh inside is white, soft, and almost impossibly creamy, with a flavor that blends banana, pineapple, papaya, and vanilla into something that feels almost artificial in how perfectly sweet it is. The texture is close to custard, which is why it is also called custard apple in some regions. It has been grown in the Andes for thousands of years and was considered sacred by the Inca. Despite its extraordinary taste, Cherimoya remains relatively unknown outside its native region and parts of Spain because it is delicate, bruises instantly, and has a very short shelf life once ripe. Longan. Longan is the quieter cousin of lychee, and it often gets overlooked because of that comparison. The name means dragon eye in Cantonese, which becomes obvious the moment you peel one. The thin, tan shell comes off easily to reveal translucent white flesh wrapped around a single dark, glossy seed. The resemblance to an eyeball is striking. The taste is sweet and slightly musky, less floral than lychee, but with its own distinctive depth. Longan grows widely across southern China and Southeast Asia, and has been prized in Chinese culture for over 2,000 years. It appears in traditional medicine, poetry, and royal tribute records. Today, it is eaten fresh, dried, canned, and brewed into herbal teas and soups. The dried version is particularly common in Chinese herbal remedies, believed to promote calmness and improve sleep. Nutritionally, longan contains significant amounts of vitamin C, potassium, and various antioxidants. Salak. Salak goes by another name in English, snake fruit, and the reason is immediately clear when you hold one. The skin is covered in reddish-brown scales that look exactly like the pattern on a snake. Underneath, the flesh is dry, dense, and divided into sections, almost like a head of garlic in structure. The flavor is a unique combination of sweet and acidic, with a slightly astringent quality that lingers somewhere between apple and pineapple with an almost tannic finish. Salak is native to Indonesia, particularly the island of Java and the Bali region, where it has been cultivated for centuries. It is consumed fresh, but also made into wine, vinegar, chips, and pickles. The Balinese variety is considered especially fine and is exported across Asia. Despite its unusual texture and taste, Salak is gaining international attention as curiosity about tropical fruits grows and it becomes more available in specialty markets. Feijoa. Feijoa is the kind of fruit that people either grow up knowing or have never heard of at all. It is small, green, and oval, resembling an unripe guava from the outside, which makes sense because the two are closely related. Originally from South America, particularly Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentina, Feijoa found its true commercial home in New Zealand, where it is beloved to the point of being a cultural touchstone. The flesh is cream-colored, grainy like a pear, and intensely aromatic. The flavor is difficult to describe without tasting it. Most people land somewhere around a mix of pineapple, guava, and mint, with a perfumed quality that carries even through cooking. It is eaten by cutting it in half and scooping out the inside, and it is used heavily in juices, jams, desserts, and even beer. The Feijoa season in New Zealand is brief and eagerly anticipated every year, and the scent alone tends to trigger nostalgia in anyone who grew up eating them. Ackee. Ackee is one of the most culturally specific fruits in the world. It is the national fruit of Jamaica, a central ingredient in the country's national dish, and it is also one of the few fruits that can be genuinely dangerous if eaten incorrectly. The fruit grows on trees brought from West Africa to the Caribbean in the 18th century. When fully ripe, the pods split open naturally, revealing creamy yellow flesh around 3 large black seeds. That flesh, once boiled, has a texture surprisingly close to scrambled eggs, which is why the classic dish ackee and saltfish is so visually striking. The flavor is mild, slightly fatty, and savory rather than sweet. The danger lies in eating it before it has opened on its own. Unripe ackee contains a toxin called hypoglycin that can cause a condition known locally as Jamaican vomiting sickness. Ripe, properly prepared ackee is completely safe and nutritious, but the rules around its preparation are taken seriously. In the United States, fresh ackee was banned for decades and is still tightly regulated.